Welcome to Just Break Up, the podcast about love, heartbreak, and all the relationship advice you don't want to hear. My name is Sierra DeMulder.
And I'm Sam Blackwell. And today we're going to answer a letter from somebody who is a jealous mess over an actual plastic baby doll clown version of her partner. Pulled that right from the letter.
We had to pick that letter just because of the concept. We just,
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
But before we begin, we just want to give you our Surgeon General's warning, which is that Sierra and I are not licensed mental health practitioners.
Sure aren't. We are not trained in any of this. We are not professionals. So please take our advice as you see fit in your life. We are only here to offer our humble musings to hopefully shed some understanding and maybe some laughs about the incredibly rewarding but mostly confusing experience that is love and doll collecting.
Absolutely. Yes. Do you like dolls?
Right.
Are you a doll fan?
No, I am not a doll person. However, I do, not yucking anyone's yums. I like when people are really into things. Dolls ain't it for me.
No, definitely not. My aunt is really into dolls. And she has like a whole shelf that lines her living room that's just like full of like 1,000 dolls, and it's cute, and I'm glad that she enjoys it, but it does feel like you're being watched all the time, which is like really disconcerting.
I think it's the eyes that make it a complicated experience for the non-doll enthusiast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if it'd be better or worse if they didn't have eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Worse. Definitely worse.
Anyway, okay, so stay tuned for that letter, but it's Monday, so first we're going to do a quick chaotic check-in topic. So this check-in topic is inspired by something that my wife has done that has annoyed me, and she doesn't know about it yet.
And Willow, come on out. We're going to tell you in real time.
Which is partially why it's chaotic, because it's chaotic of me to bring this to the podcast before bringing it to her. But truthfully, it's something so small. It's kind of like the towel thing. If you're an OG listener, there's a classic towel story where Willow and I were going to the beach, and she only packed one towel. First, it still makes me laugh. So, she only packed one towel, and I was like, what? Like, why didn't you pack two? Whatever. And it hurt my feelings.
Understandable.
In a very Sierra way. And we laugh about that now. And now when we go on trips, she goes, I packed two towels. Anyway, this is all to say. So this is not a big thing. It's just literally a thing that irked me. And then I was like laying in bed being like, should I tell her? Should I bring this up? Should I just like let it go? And I was like, I'll tell Sam and get his opinion. It's not even something so big that needs to be processed. I'm just literally milking my personal life for podcast content. Okay, so here's the circumstance. We have a dishwasher, and one day I opened the dishwasher.
Oh, no.
And the lid to the silverware little caddy is gone. Like it opens and closes.
Oh, yeah, and it's got the little slots to put the spoons in. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, the lid is gone. Strange.
Where did it go?
Let's ask my wife. Willow, where did you put the lid to the silverware caddy? Oh, it has annoyed me ever since we've gotten the dishwasher years ago, and I hate it, and so I took it off and I threw it away.
What? What?
Yeah.
That's so chaotic. Why is she doing that?
Because it annoyed her. And so now she can just put the silverware in the little openings of the caddy without the tiny little slots. Okay. So my fucking sensitive ass brain is over here like, I don't move in our house without letting you know that I'm moving. I don't make a lived decision over our household without getting your opinion on it. And you fucking... and you took lid off of our caddy, which I liked. I enjoyed it. I didn't find it annoying. I liked that it like segregated the little silverware.
Yeah, it like keeps them from touching.
I know.
I don't know why. I don't know why it's important. It also like keeps them upright, which I feel like is an important piece of the silverware washing process. I don't know why. These are like these
so
are
here's the question,
in my head,
Sam.
and I've never.
Would this upset you?
Yeah, it would upset me, but I wouldn't be stewing about it at night. I would just be like, "Why did you do that?"
No, and the problem is, I'm not like stewing about the dishwasher. At night, I was like, "You didn't think of me," and if anything, it highlights my codependency in my external internal processing, where like I don't do anything on my own. I always have to get like other people's opinions on it, even bringing my internal problems to my fucking podcast co-host and the thousands of listeners we have. Anyway, so please know that I don't think that this is like a deep crisis in my relationship. But it reminded me of the towel, and I was like, oh my God, we could talk about this on the podcast. So how do you feel about this? And do you have other examples, maybe other litmus tests for me of things that your partner have done? And like, are you mad at them for it? Silly things. I
think it's reasonable to be like, why did you just make this unilateral decision about what our dishwasher does and doesn't do? Especially because you can just, if you don't like the things, you can just flip them up. You don't have to like take the whole thing off.
I feel affirmed. Because it's our dishwasher. Like, we bought that bitch together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's ours.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would just make a joke about it, is how I would handle the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. But your jokes in that situation don't feel like jokes. As the person
They're not.
who has been the recipient of your little sideways commentary about your disappointment in me or whatever. Anyway, no, I'll say something because now it's on the podcast, and I should.
No, you have to. People are going to be like,
yeah.
Trolling
What about
Willow.
you? What's something questionable Peter has done that makes you unreasonably question why you're upset? And I'll tell you whether or not it's valid.
Peter loves candles. Peter like makes his own candles from scratch. I don't know. He like melts the wax and puts things in. Like, he really likes scents. I enjoy scents too, and sometimes I want to light a candle. And the thing is that the one lighter that we have in the house is never in the same place.
Oh.
And in my head, it has a place, which is in the kitchen.
We should do a whole episode on that, because we should do a whole episode on that.
Okay. So this is in this like kitchen cabinet. That's where I expect it to be. And then for a while, it was always in the drawer.
So now you started looking in the drawer.
Yeah. So now I was like, okay, we've changed where this is. So now it's in the drawer only, right? It used to be in the cabinet. Yeah. Now it's moved. I don't know why it's moved to the drawer, but like this is the consistent thing. Yeah. But now it's not in the cabinet or the drawer. It's just wherever he's decided to put it.
Because you're like, it has a home, and he's like, yeah, in our house. And you're like,
yes, absolutely.
But where?
And the thing is that like, it would be different if it was like, oh, it's like always in his like reading room, like next to the candle that he like lights.
But it's always more lighters.
It's put away in a different place every time. It's in a drawer or like behind tidied. A cabinet door. Yeah, it's like tidied, but it's in a different place. And so whenever I want to light a freaking candle, I have to like open every drawer and be like, where is it? And then like, that experience of like not being able to find something and how it makes you feel like you've like completely lost your mind. There's a pair of pants that I own that I love. It's my favorite pair of like dress pants. Nowhere to be found in our house. And I have no idea where it is. And it makes me feel like I've like, someone is like gaslighting me. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's your house. Your house is gaslighting you.
The universe is gaslighting me because it's like, where could these have gone? I don't understand. But that's how I feel every time I'm looking for this stupid lighter. The solution, I think, is for me to buy my own lighter and keep it in a consistent place every time.
Yes, unfortunately. So my solution is to buy my
he's
own
not going to be able
dishwasher.
To find. Please, yes, buy your own dishwasher. Be like, just buy a new caddy and switch them out. depending on who is loading or unloading the dishwasher.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm not gonna tell her. And she'll be like, "Why did you switch out this caddy?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know we were communicating about the changes that we're making on our home appliances."
That's the best way to handle it. That's the best way to handle it.
Listen, y'all, it's not about direct communication. It's about the silent long game.
100%. Absolutely.
I'll update you in 6 to 8 weeks after the thing comes in.
Peter and I did have a conversation about the lighter, though, so now it does have a place, which is great. It's either in the place or it's in his room where he lights his candles, and so I only have to look 2 places.
We legitimately need to do an entire Patreon episode on merging home styles, because
100%.
let me tell you, I have just submitted. I would love to have a very organized pantry. I've even labeled shelves, right? And then every 3 to 6 months, I got to reorganize the pantry. And then I give up. I just put things wherever. I put the sugar on the non-baking shelf. You know what I mean? Because it's just like,
that's a nightmare.
Why even try? Anyway, I love my wife and I love her. I love our relationship. Just to be clear. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that chaotic interlude into our personal lives. You want to dive into today's letter?
Let's do it. All right. So this letter comes from Jealous Mess, whose pronouns are he, him, she, her. Any pronouns are fine, but I prefer he and she, who is writing from Clown Doll Hell. Dear Sam and Sierra, I have a truly unusual problem in my relationship. It takes the form of a clown baby doll replica of my partner. I don't really know where to start, so I'll give as much context as possible. My partner, I'll call them Honey, has had this long-distance friend that they talk to every few weeks and who they've told me has a big crush on them. They're just friends, but sometimes the way that they talk about their exchanges makes me feel incredibly jealous and insecure, even though they've assured me that that's all there is to their friendship. But I know that in the past, they've mentioned talking about potentially hooking up, and last year they almost bought this friend a plane ticket for a concert. Those plans fell through, but let me tell you, they took a toll on my nerves. A few months ago, Honey received this handmade gift from the long-distance friend. It's a baby doll dressed in a hand-sewn clothes that look like theirs, hand-painted clown makeup, and all of their same tattoos. Now, this is a very romantic gift, and my partner has this whole clown collecting thing, so it's not as creepy as it sounds on paper. But this doll, my doves, the power I have given it in my mind. They cried when they received it. They display it next to the mirror they use to get ready in the morning. I can see it when I wake up in their bed and even when we have sex. I've had very out-of-character fantasies about destroying this doll behind their back. This sounds insane, but I promise I'm not making this up, and I've talked to my therapist and so many friends about it. Everyone I've talked to about this doll understands why I would be upset and insecure about it, and also seems as equally baffled about what I can do about it. I feel horrible because they love this gift, and it was obviously made with a lot of care, but it's driving me insane. How do I get over it? How do I release myself from the meaning I've given it? My partner doesn't understand why it upsets me, and I think this is the worst part. I'm a jealous mess over an actual plastic baby doll clown version of my partner. I swear I'm not trolling you. I'm genuinely distressed and at a loss of what to do in this situation. Sometimes I wish they were just cheating on me because that would at least be a normal person problem to have.
That is so funny.
Honey gets hurt every time I try to talk to them about my jealousy over this friend and the doll, understandably so, because it's often during a jealousy spiral where I ask them if they're planning on leaving me for the long-distance friend. I'm not proud of my jealousy, but I don't know what to do next. I want to ask them to move the doll so at least I don't have to see it from their bed, but I don't even know if it's within my right to ask them, and I don't want to upset them. I love my partner, and our relationship is stable and fun and all around awesome, except for my jealousy and their inability to understand it. Please, if you have any advice on how I should go about my doll problem, I'm desperate to hear it. Thank you for listening and witnessing. I feel so alone in this jealousy and in this situation, and I definitely don't have more clarity after writing this, but maybe you'll be able to see something that I can't. Thank you, Jealous Mess.
All right, my darling. Thank you so much for writing and for trusting us with this adorable mess. I know it doesn't feel adorable. I know it feels chaotic and sensitive and just everything you said about wishing that they were actually cheating on you instead of this doll situation. But hey, I'm here to say it's okay. You're obviously super overstimulated right now. You are on edge. You are on high alert, and you've got this doll staring at you, literally reminding you of what you are on edge about. And it feels like a physical manifestation of all of your fears that you can look at and see your partner loving and adorning. You know, it's like the friend, the long distance friend is like sitting in your room watching you guys fuck. That would set an uneasy feeling over anyone. On top of the fact that it sounds like you're dealing with some legitimate jealousy and insecurity issues, whether or not there's cause for those insecurity and jealousies, right? So I just want to say in general, like, it sounds like you are, in full panic attack mode when it comes to the safety and security of a relationship. And so we are going to give you some advice on how to talk about that with your partner, how to unpack some of those well-worn paths inside your brain that are causing you to see this doll and this friend as a threat instead of listening to what your partner is saying. And we're going to make some doll jokes, probably. So,
we probably will, yes.
Stay tuned. We'll get back to you in just 1 minute after taking a very quick break.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. Good news, jealous mess. I don't usually have simple advice for people, but I have one. I have some for you, which is that you just need to bury that doll in the woods somewhere.
How many horror movies have you seen?
100%. Absolutely. I've seen The Conjuring or whatever.
Joking.
Annabelle.
No.
I don't
No.
Chucky. Just kidding. I don't. I'm sure that this doll is lovely. In my head, it's terrifying.
Sam and I got together to record
I don't like
today,
to picture it.
and they're like, I'm just going to tell them to break it.
Just oops, fell off the table. Don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. That's a terrible idea. It's just clowns and dolls are my two biggest fears, visceral fears. It's they just freak me out. So the fact that it's also a clown doll is it's just it's really, I don't want to see it, please. And it's obviously very important to your partner, and that is wonderful. I think what I'm actually going to offer you is that this issue is not actually about the doll at all. It's actually about the fact that you are experiencing a lot of jealousy about your partner's relationship with their friend, and that jealousy is going untended to by you and your partner, right? Instead of talking about and addressing and holding the jealousy that you're feeling as something that is maybe not legit in that your partner is doing anything wrong, but legit in that you're feeling it, right? You're experiencing it. And that means that what needs to happen here is that you and potentially your partner need to spend some time understanding and holding that jealousy for you, right? To say oh, this is an emotion that I'm experiencing and feeling. And guess what? It's not a bad emotion. It's not an emotion that I need to suppress. It's just an emotion that I'm experiencing that is understandable given the intimacy that my partner is having with this other person and the way in which that other person is showing their affection to my partner, right? Does that mean that anything needs to change? Maybe not, right? I don't know that anything about their relationship needs to change. I don't know that anything about the doll needs to change, but those feelings, that insecurity that you're feeling needs to be tended to, right? It doesn't need to be suppressed and called bad. It needs support and love and tenderness so that you can figure out how to hold it in a way that doesn't feel all consuming all the time.
And I'm going to try to offer you some different paths to take your brain on. Sam's totally right that this is something that deserves to be tended to and held by both you and your partner. As an anxiously attached person who has struggled with insecurity and jealousy in past relationships. I do recognize, though, that there's going to come a time in this relationship in which you are going to have to put some work behind believing your partner when they say that nothing's going on or nothing's going to happen with this friend. They need to have the patience and the support to be able to help you along that journey, but they can't give you if they could just say the right thing and have you not be insecure, that would have worked by now, right? If it had to do with them telling you nothing's going on, I mean, it's going to have to come from both of you, and it's mostly going to have to come from you. But Sam's right. Ultimately, it's a shared thing. But so I'm going to try to offer you some just perspective shifts or different paths of thinking that will help you meet your partner in that journey. First, I want to say that it is really scary. It can feel very threatening to our safety and our love when our partner can feel such great intimacy with other people. And just because it feels threatening doesn't mean it is. We are capable of having many important, intimate relationships with many different type of people in our lives. And part of our journey as like emotionally aware and accountable human beings in this mess of relationships is telling ourselves that just because I feel something doesn't mean that there's like a real attack coming. You know, my nervous system, it feels insecure, and all of a sudden, oh my God, this friend is a threat. This doll is a threat. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. But, you know, my work in my relationship was really on like demonogamizing my mindset, not my relationship. We're a monogamous relationship, but I wanted to be able to look at my wife's relationships and recognize that she gets intimacy from more people than just me. And that intimacy is not a threat to our relationship. In fact, it is a gift that my partner is so well supported in life, you know? And this comes after years of being with her, of years of working on this. So I understand that it's not going to be just like a light switch. But as outsiders, I just want to point out that I want you to talk to your partner about this, unload some of the burden. But at one point, you have to either choose to believe what they're telling you or recognize that there's nothing that they can say that will make you trust them wholly. And then sadly, this relationship, I don't think is for you, right? Like if you can't both do the work to move towards each other in this, yeah, I'm getting caught up in my words right now because it's hard. It really is hard. And it's not about the doll. And also, like, at the end of the day, what if it is true that your partner just really loves this friend and they have this great intimate connection and she loves and they love this doll and it means a lot to them because of the thoughtfulness of the gift? What if that's it? If that's true, if that's it, if there's nothing else going on, then you have to figure out how to feel comfortable with the fact that your partner has other fulfilling relationships. That's what it comes down to me in my processing of my insecurity, is that like my insecurity is like trying to find all these other escape routes to give my insecurity like more validity or more purpose. And then I realized that at its core, it was just because I felt threatened by that intimacy. And to stop feeling threatened by it, I decided to see it as a great gift, that my partner's friendships and family relationships that are really good and strong, that make her happy, are a gift because I want my partner to be happy, you know?
Yeah, I think that is so helpful, like that reframing of it as like, this is not a deficit, my deficit, right? Like they're not taking something away from me by having an intimate relationship with somebody else, right? And I mean intimate in like a vulnerable friendship. And it's actually an asset to them and to our relationship that they are so capable of loving people so deeply, including me, right? You know, like that, changing it from this perspective of like, there's only so much love to go around, and having more faith in the abundance of their capacity to love you and to love everyone else that is in their life, right? And what a gift it is to see our partners not as limited, but instead as wealths of love and kindness and empathy for us and for other people. Like, I think that what a gift you can give yourself and your partner by shifting that perspective on them, because that's what's actually true, right? Your partner is capable of holding a intimate friendship with this person and their love for you. Like, that's the truth of it. And so the question is, how can you remind yourself of that? Not just when you're in like a jealousy spiral, right? But how can you remind yourself of that in your everyday life? How can you rewire this pattern that says their love is limited, their love has a capacity to it, and if I don't get all of it, then suddenly I'm going to be hurt by this, to instead remind yourself when you see them and you're feeling a moment of love to say, oh, wow, how infinite is their love, right? How infinite is their capacity to be able to hold other people and me in their heart at the same time. And I think that I want you to do some of this outside of those jealousy spirals, because I know that like those jealousy spirals are going to continue, right? This is not going to be like a cool you flip the switch and suddenly those spirals are gone. But being able to like work out this stuff for yourself, and perhaps in conversation with your partner, helps to make those jealousy spirals easier for us to manage, right? Because we've laid the groundwork, we've prepared ourselves for the things that are gonna happen when that jealousy flares up, right? And I want you to even talk to them about like, what are some of the things that the two of you want to try when you're going down that road of feeling really jealous? And is it that, and I want it to be like, what are the things that you're going to do to help, regulate yourself? What are the things you're going to remind yourself? What are the actions you're going to take? How are you going to get back into your body? And what are the ways that you can ask for help and support from your partner that don't feel like an attack to them, but instead feel like an invitation into supporting you through this thing that's happening in your head and your heart and your body, which are often outside of your control, right? It's not like you're choosing to be jealous. Like, jealousy is just coming up because that's the thing that happens in your body. That's the pattern you've been taught about what love is and how you should respond to what feels like a deficit of love. So when that happens, are you going to go take a walk? Are you going to go drink some coffee? Are you going to go watch your favorite movie or listen to your favorite song, right? Like, are you going to go put your feet on the ground and tell yourself 5 things that you can see and 4 things that you can hear, right? What are the actual things you're going to do? And then what are the things that you're going to ask of your partner in those to help support you? And that might be, hey, when I'm in this spiral, what's really helpful is if you hold my hand and say, I love you, right? Or when I'm in the spiral, what's really helpful is if I can say, I'm feeling really jealous right now, and all I need is just a hug, right? Like, what are the things that are available to the both of you that they can help you with, so that you can do the work that you need to do to help self-regulate and to help remind yourself of what is actually true and not what your body is telling you, but also so that they can be supportive of you, because I'm sure that's what they want, right? And if they aren't, and if they don't want to, that's telling you something about whether or not this relationship is going to be compatible for you, because you're somebody who experiences jealousy. And so you're going to need a partner that can support and love and help you through that jealousy. And maybe that's not the partner that you currently have, but I think they deserve an opportunity to help you through this in a way that doesn't feel like you are telling them that they can't be friends with their friend, or telling them that they have to get rid of the doll, or feeling sort of attacked in that way. And I think that having these types of conversations before the jealousy spiral starts can help you figure out how to do that in a way that feels reciprocal and supportive of each other.
Yeah, definitely. I want to say one last thing from the anxious, jealous corner of this conversation.
Sure.
I think my early survival tools that were developed was to, when I felt that discomfort, when I felt like the risk of my love going away or whatever, it would be to rail against the thing, right? Obsess over it. Yep. This person, my partner told me they found this person attractive once. Oh my God. Obsess. My partner has a friend that they hang out that makes me uncomfortable. I'm going to obsess over every text that they send them and think about, their time with this friend differently than other friends or whatever. Lovingly, I want to say this doll is obviously getting under your skin and is becoming like a fixation point for you. When I have been in those sort of like stuck points or those places where I'm just like, well, I don't like it. I don't like this doll. This person makes me uncomfortable. I feel threatened by this. I don't like this relationship. I don't know what to tell you. I feel jealous about it. This doll, la, 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 la. Something that I want to say lovingly to you from one anxiously jealous person to another is, what if the doll's going to stay no matter what? Period.
You're going to bury it out in the woods and it'll appear on the dresser the next night.
No. I think sometimes it helped. If this isn't helpful for you, truthfully, don't listen to me. But sometimes it helped me to be like, this person isn't going to leave my partner's life. Period. No matter how many times I sort of subconsciously badmouth them, or no matter my subconscious attempts to isolate them, or no matter how many times I have a freak out because X, Y, and Z triggered me. Like the doll triggers you, and now you have a heightened sense of anxiety. You're obviously fixating on it. It's making you feel deeply insecure. It's making your peace feel harder to access. Makes a lot of sense that you're like super elevated right now. But how would you cope with that elevation, with that insecurity, with that disruption to your peace in your relationship if you knew that in 10 years from now, you will still be with your partner and you will still be happy, but they're still going to own that doll and they're still going to be friends with this friend? This is obviously assuming that everything is cool and kosher between the two of them, because I'm going to choose to believe your partner because I believe it's totally capable to like find somebody physically attractive at some point in my life and then change my feelings about them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm, they're obviously, your partner is obviously choosing you to be with you. They're choosing to be with you. And they're also choosing to continue to have a relationship with this very important friend of theirs. Like, I know that's hard to hold those two truths at the same time, but it is possible. I feel like I'm coming on a little strong. But sometimes my erotic anxiety needed really blunt statements like that. Like,
for sure.
What if the doll never goes away? How can you change your coping strategies? How can you change your relationship to it? Or like the thing that I anticipate Sam saying in 5 seconds, which is, or if it gets to a tipping point where you can't handle that fucking doll and you tell them you can't handle them, you either ask them to put it away or this person's not for you, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For real. Also, you don't want to send any like bad,
vibes into that doll.
Vibes into the doll. No, absolutely not. Right? Like you gotta just only send positivity because it will
Dolls
haunt you.
Are ripe for haunting.
Absolutely, 100%.
They're like, oh my God, a human form. Suck that demon right in.
Absolutely.
Let me say one more really quick thing. I just want, and I'm saying this because my illogic anxiety, like my fear would spiral like this. I would be obsessed with that doll. I would tell my friends about that doll. Right. But as a person who's in a stable, loving, secure marriage right now, except for the dishwasher issue, I just want to say, like, Spencer, Big Cats, our producer, best friend, gives great gifts. Often gives me gifts that make me cry with their awesomeness. And I have to I lovingly go to my wife and say, oh my God, look what Spencer got me. I love it so much. And she'll say, oh, Spencer, he's such a good one. He's so good at that. I just want to give that example of like.
I also sent you some possum stickers. So I hope that you do the same thing. When
I cried. I sobbed. I said, Well, actually, I did get emotional because you said really sweet things in the letter. Anyway, I just want to say that as a real world example, because I think we've been taught to be threatened by friendships, to be threatened by our partner's intimacy, to be threatened by things being important in our lovers' lives. And that's not sustainable. It's not. Also, fuck that doll. Like, you can be angry at that. You can be like, I hate this doll. And also, how much joy is it bringing your partner? How important is it to them? Like, fuck that dishwasher thing. I loved that thing. But, like, my wife hated it. I don't know, man.
We're getting all over the place.
Yeah.
We're conflating too many things.
Sorry. I listen to the letter writer. I love you. I'm on your side in this, even though I'm saying
Absolutely.
really intense, direct things. I'm on your side because I see myself in you.
Yep.
And I hope this helps.
Absolutely. If it's not abundantly clear, we hate that doll, but we love you. So thank you so much for writing. We hope this helps.
We love ya.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like more content from us, or if you would like access to our monthly office hours, you can support us on Patreon. If you support us on Patreon for as little as $5 a month, you'll get an additional bonus weekly episode, as well as access to all of the back catalog of episodes. That's patreon.com/justbreakuppod.
You can slide into our DMs, send us your favorite relationship memes, but most importantly, you can submit your questions about all matters of the heart or collector's items, at justbreakuppod.com, which is also where you can find our merchandise.
Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating and review. This literally keeps our mics on and helps us reach more brokenhearted souls who need 2 random strangers giving them relationship advice.
Just Break Up is a production of Duvid Media, original music, recording, editing, producing, all magical things by our good friend Spencer Worth Davis. Make sure to check out his music and his podcast. And remember, to exercise a haunted doll, you need to... I'm just kidding. And remember, sometimes the conflict in our brain is actually just something we need to get used to feeling. And then once we get used to that feeling, once we get used to that doll on the shelf, once we recognize that that's not changing, that's when we can access different reactions in our brain. That's when we can access different paths of emotional connection. And if all else fails,
Just break up.